Good morning. It's 7:30. Still in bed. I'm tired. But I guess now I need to get up and do some things. Even got my very own picnic table. How sweet is that? It's pretty awesome to think that you can hike about 5 miles from the trailhead over there and come here and camp for the night for free. It's pretty sweet. But it's also right on the Foothills Trail. In fact, the trail runs right through the woods there, about 15 feet away. Got some things on my mind this morning. I'm going to slow roll it a little bit and I'll tell you about them in just a minute. When I came into camp last night about, 5:15, I was pretty bedraggled. It was a tough day. Lots of stairs. I tried counting for a little while, but I think I had at least 300, which makes me wonder in like one 12-mile stretch, if there's 300 stairs, how many there are on the whole trail. I have not been counting. I'd like to find out. But as I was walking up, I asked, there were 2 women at the campsite next to me, and I asked them if they were doing the trail, and I asked them about sites, how far down the sites went, and that sort of thing. And one woman said, I've hiked it 42 times. I was like, what? And she lives close by, and this is her favorite place to hike, and she has done, in her years, almost 75 years, she's done the trail that many times. And she's also section hiked the PCT and done the CDT and parts of the AT, so she's an avid hiker. And it was fun meeting her. And then a little bit later she came over and sat down and we just chatted a bit about what it's like to be hiking as you get older and how you have to use it or lose it and that kind of thing. And I told her about something that had been on my mind a little bit, and as I was talking to her and just hearing her point of view, it kind of reinforced a decision. This is day 6 for me. It's Friday, and I started hiking Sunday afternoon. So 5 full days of hiking. No, 4 full, what is that? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 full days of hiking, 10 to 12 miles a day. And Sunday I did like just under 4 and just hiked it and camped. And my knees have been screaming at me. And I know I was not in great shape when I started this trail, which is all on me. But even though I heard there were a lot of stairs on this trail, I didn't realize how many. I understand why they have to put stairs in certain places, because the terrain is too steep or too soft for people to be climbing up. It would just destroy the trail. Although I much prefer to hike on just natural trail. Rocks, if you have to use those for steps or, logs and that sort of thing, I'm fine with that. But cutting stairs and putting stairs in just seems so kind of not leave no trace to me. So I guess I just sort of have some kind of a psychological objection to stairs. But I understand they have their place, and they have certainly gotten me through this trail in areas where I would not have gone through. So I am thankful for that and for the hard work that the people did to put those in. But my knees were screaming, and I really started having some pain in my right knee where I tore my MCL on the Tahoe Run Trail when I stepped down too far, too fast, too hard, and I had to get out of there and get medical treatment immediately. And I didn't want that to happen. I just kept thinking about that as I was hiking, and I was like, is it better to end on a high note and really be thankful for the time that I've had out here? It is a beautiful trail. It's definitely not as beautiful as it was because of all the damage from Helene and from the recent ice storms, but I think it will come back to that beauty. And it's just neat to see it, and neat to see the creeks and the waterfalls and all of those things. Should I take that as a win and just be happy with it and get off the trail today, or should I push on through the 2 hardest days on the trail coming up, if I continue, would be Heartbreak Ridge, which is, as they put it in the guidebook, I think it was extremely strenuous. It says in the guidebook that trail bears left and begins ascending steep wooden steps, seen plenty of those. The next 0.7 miles is very, capitalized very, strenuous as it descends and ascends Heartbreak Ridge. Now, that might be fun for some people, but if your knees are hurting and you're worried about tearing an MCL again, re-injuring it, not so much. So there's that. And then I have Sassafras Mountain coming up as well. And I thought, you know what? I've had a good time out here, and it's probably smarter to go ahead and get off now and come back maybe in the fall, do a lot of training for that stretch, and be ready and do it with a friend and have a good 2-3 night backpacking trip and just be happy with what I've done. And I am happy with what I've done. So when I was talking to this woman, she was really pretty amazing. And she does, she's recognized that as she gets older, she can't do as much, and she's adapted, and she's still out here hiking. And that was really inspiring. And I thought, you know what, I need to take care of myself, and I'm going to take care of myself and do the things that are most important for me. And it occurred to me that if I pushed through and tried to finish, I would be doing it just for YouTube. And I don't need to prove anything to anybody. I don't need to finish a hike just because I think people watching want to see me finish the hike. So I'm going to call it. I can hike 5 miles out today. I'm going to have to wait a few hours for a shuttle driver to come get me, but then he can take me back to my car at Table Rock, and I could go home feeling really, really good about a really nice hike. Even though it had its ups and downs, and it was very lonely at the beginning, and it was tough, I'm glad that I did it. I stuck to my schedule. I did everything that I planned to do up until this point, and I really enjoyed it. And what better place than this? This is a beautiful campsite to have just a quiet morning to reflect and enjoy nature, be thankful for all the people that work so hard to make this trail what it is. And I'm going to go home. I was in my tent the night before last. I was looking at the guidebook and at Far Out and thinking about how's my body going to handle these next few days, because there's just this thing, I call it cumulative fatigue, but it's basically after you hike for several days, it just sort of starts to pile up on your body. And I find that I'm much more likely to get injured when I'm tired. I can see it because I'll trip more often, and I don't have that detailed proprioception, that sense of where your body is as much when I'm very fatigued. And a lot of other things. Obviously, you guys have all been tired, so you know what it's like. But I have that cumulative fatigue, and I was thinking, okay, these stretches coming up, they're going to be really tough. But I sort of have the attitude that I can get through anything if I give myself enough time. Now, maybe not Everest, but, pretty much anything that the trail throws at me, I can do as long as I take my time, take it slowly. But I was like, do I want to do that? Do I want to do that to my body? And so I was looking at the guidebook, looking at Far Out, and trying to figure out, well, is there even a way to get off the trail? Because the trail seems so very remote. It seems like you are so far away from civilization, but then you'll be sitting down for a break and hear a car or something, So it's kind of strange. And then I saw some day hikers that day that they had passed me one way, and then they passed again in the evening. And I thought, where did they park? I could not figure it out. I didn't know, this was at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening that they were hiking back from the direction that they came. And I didn't think to ask them. So as I was hiking out yesterday morning, I'd gone a little ways and I smelled smoke, and I thought, oh gee, is that another controlled burn? Come around a corner, across a little bridge, and there is a family camp with a full-size car camping tent, a parent and some 3 kids maybe. And they were having a great time just sitting by the fire talking at, 9:30 in the morning, just enjoying themselves. And I was like, oh my gosh, you guys know how to camp. And I said, where'd you come from? How did you get here? And they told me about this trail here. They said that they had gotten a shuttle ride to, I think it was Bear or something. I'm not sure exactly where they came in, but it was back the way I had come. And then they said, up ahead that there was this canebrake trail that would get you to Frozen Creek Access. And here on the Foothills Trail, the trailheads are called Access, so that can be a little confusing if you're not used to that. So the canebrake trail from here, it is just right down by the end of this campground, is about a little over 5 miles, 1,500 feet of elevation. So not a terribly challenging trail. And I hear that it does not have any stairs. So I looked at the logistics on that. And then I had thankfully put in the name of a shuttle driver, Taz, who's really well known on this trail. He was in my phone. And though I've not had any cell service, I have only had cell service like maybe once a day, every day. I used my Garmin InReach, and I reached out to Andy and said, this is what I'm going to do. Can you please reach out to Taz and see if he can come get me? And so he did that. And it takes a little while with the Garmin. The satellite messages take longer than some cell phone messages do to get through. But I sat and waited, and he confirmed that, yes, he reached out to Taz, and Taz could come get me. So, I did the rest of the day, which was really beautiful, but insane, strenuous. You can see the video from yesterday, all the stairs. And then I came across, this is 𝐒𝐡𝐢𝐬 River next to me, and came across the river on that huge suspension bridge and saw the sign for cane brake, and I was like, that's for sure what I'm doing. So yeah, it's a difficult decision, really difficult decision, because it really made me think about, why do I hike? And I don't hike just for YouTube. I hike for me. I hike because I like hiking. But I was like, why would I be continuing on? What would be the reason for me to continue if I'm in pain? If I'm really, fearful of re-injuring myself? If I do get re-injured, then how am I going to get out? All those kind of thoughts that went through my head. And I thought, you know what? I need to do what's best for me, and that is getting off the trail. And for a lot of people, that feels like defeat. For me, that has always felt like defeat. I have always been really frustrated when I've had to end a trail early. On the Colorado Trail, when I had to get off halfway through because I was sick, that felt like failure. And I wanted to start from the beginning again when I did it the next year, because I wanted to have that full through hike. And the same thing with the Tahoe Rim Trail. When I tore my MCL, I wanted to go back and do the whole thing. And I did. This trail, I don't feel that way. I feel like it's been a good hike, and I feel really positive and happy about the hike that I've had. And I feel no regrets about the decision, which is really, really a good thing.